In the recent social weather station survey commissioned by Stratbase Development of agriculture and ensuring food security are top concerns. Yes, 9 out of 10 respondents in that poll said they will vote for midterm election candidates that advocate for these. The survey also showed that 3 of the top 10 concerns of Filipinos have something to do with gut issues, like poverty and hunger and controlling prices of basic goods. Sa madaling salita, malapit sa sikmura.
At the forefront of the price concern is affordable rice. From the undelivered promise of rice at 20 pesos per kilo to rising prices in 2024, the Agriculture Department was at the center of it and was eventually tapped to bring down rice prices ASAP.
And then there's also the problem on smuggling of agricultural products that pose a serious threat to both the economy and public safety. Local farmers are losing out to the influx of illegally imported goods, while the lack of proper testing and permits for these items endanger consumers. Just over the weekend, the Bureau of Plant Industry, or BAI, filed a legal complaint against a local importer for misdeclaring a shipment of yellow onions. And true enough, tests done on the smuggled onions revealed high levels of microbiological contaminants, including E. coli, making them unsafe for human consumption. Last December, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. directed the Bureau of Customs and the DA to intensify the implementation of Republic Act No. 12022, otherwise known as the Anti-Agriculture Economic Sabotage Act, emphasizing the need for stronger action against smugglers.
These are only 3 of the issues that will be addressed tonight by no less than the Agriculture Chief himself, Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel Jr. Good evening to you, Secretary.
Good evening sa inyong tatlo.
Maraming salamat at napaunlakan nyo kami. Mahirap daw po kayong mag-guest. Well, let's begin with, it was only last month that you declared a food security emergency. Are we still under a state of emergency?
Well, technically, we are food secure naman. But the main reason for declaring the food emergency natin, especially on rice, is because yung presyo ay extraordinary, number 1. Number 2 is punong-puno rin ang mga warehouses ng NFA ng bigas, and we have to move this out as soon as possible kasi para makabili tayo ng mga bagong stocks sa mga aanihin ng ating mga farmers ngayong harvest season.
So, ibig nyo pong sabihin, pwede nang i-lift ang food security emergency?
Well, hindi pa dahil yung presyo hindi pa nasa tamang halaga, no? At ngayon ang MSRP natin ngayon as of March 1 is 49 pesos. Bumaba din ng world prices ng konti tapos nag-strengthen ng peso. So we still aim to bring that down to 45 peso yung 5% broken premium rice by April 1 or March 31. Then kung sumunod naman lahat, mag-declare din tayo ng maybe MSRP doon sa 25% broken, yung mas murang version. Pagkapos na yung mga labeling requirements at ma-implement yun, maybe by that time, pag nag-stabilize na at may 30 pesos plus na sa merkado at pinakamataas, 45 or, I think baka pwede nang i-lift.
Punta tayo dun sa MSRP that you have set under this food security situation, Secretary Kiko. Marami kasing nagsasabi na maximum suggested retail price. It's only a suggestion. Hindi natin ito mai-impose. Kamusta po ang compliance with your MSRP? And talaga bang nagkaroon kayo ng dialogue with the mga sellers, no? Kung paano ba natin makakamit na talagang magbenta sila at this price?
Well, kaya step by step yung ating pagbaba or pag-issue ng MSRP from 58 pesos, naging 55, from 55, naging 52, then from 52, naging 49 ngayon. And that's why step by step, para yung effect naman sa buong value chain ay hindi masyadong mabigat, no? At they have time to move out their stocks slowly. But at the end of the day, we are doing this, it is sustainable dahil nakita na natin kung ano talaga yung costs from the importers to the biyaheros, to the traders, hanggang sa retailer. Ang objective naman natin, hindi sila malugi, no? At dapat kumita rin yung farmers natin. At hihinto ang MSRP natin to a level na hindi rin maapektuhan yung ating mga farmers.
Yun na nga po
it is a suggestion.
If I may interrupt, Secretary, yun na nga po ang while we are looking to ensure that consumers can afford rice, ang mga magsasaka naman ang naghihikahos. They're at the losing end because of the low prices that the floor price for rice sa NFA.
Yung sa floor price naman says to sa NFA, now ang buying actually ng NFA is 24 peso per kilo, in some areas 23 peso per kilo na palay dry. Ang equivalent niya nasa 42 to 45 pesos eh. Sa presyo na yun, hindi sila malulugi. I am quite sure.
But can you confirm lang real quick, Secretary Kiko, kung yung MSRP, is that really a suggestion as the name implies, or is this actually strictly imposed? Kasi we're not very clear on that.
Yeah, technically, it is a suggestion na maximum price na sana magbenta sila. And it's basically also an agreement between all the stakeholders na nakausap namin sila. No? Ang sabi nga namin is pag-usapan natin ng ganito at magkasundo tayo kasi kung hindi kayo susunod, we will be forced to recommend na mag-impose ng price ceiling, which is mas magkasakitan doon at it's not good para sa lahat na magkaroon ng ganon. With MSRP, it is a suggestion, but dapat naman lahat magtulong-tulungan at magkasundo at pagkakasundo naman at walang sakitan.
Secretary, dagdag ko lang po with regards dun sa MSRP. I remember there was a proposal to require importers na i-display po yung SRP sa rice packaging. Is that doable po ba yun, Secretary?
Yung sa labeling natin issue, ang pinagbabawalan natin sa takal is maglagay sila ng brand dahil naloloko ho yung mga ibang mga consumers natin na lalagyan ng brand, lalagyan ng fragrance, pero actually pare-pareho lang ng bigas so that iba makapag-profiteer. So ang ginawa lang natin na lalabas na labeling requirements sa takal-takal is walang brand dyan at walang mention ng premium man yan or fragrant man yan or fancy rice man yan. It's just basically yung type of rice, tsaka yung presyo, tsaka saan galing.
Well, Secretary, one of the purposes nga po ng pag-declare ng food security emergency is makapag-release po ng buffer stock ang NFA. But just last Friday, you have the National Food Authority urging LGUs to buy more rice. With that, Secretary, may delay po ba? Hindi po ba nakaka-purchase agad-agad ang mga LGU kaya nagkaka-delay? And alam naman natin, malapit na po ang harvest season para sa summer. So ano pong latest doon, Secretary?
Well, dahil sa programa natin, while we are ready to sell the rice to the LGUs, but of course, there are certain procedures na kailangan gawin ng LGU. One is kailangan makipag-MOA sila sa FTI, yung food terminals natin. Pangalawa, the mayor has to get a sangguniang resolution para to authorize. And of course, meron pang question kung may budget ba yung LGU or not, So there are certain steps na kailangan gawin. So we're requesting them para ma-expedite, para matuloy-tuloy na yung programa. Although mayroon ng mga LGU na tuloy-tuloy na kuha, we just need to move it out faster, para makabawas ng stocks para sa ating mga farmers naman, para makabili na kami sa mga farmers sa tamang halaga.
If we can look a little longer term, Secretary, there were times in the country na we touched self-sufficiency in rice. Very briefly. Time ni GMA, I think, and Marcos Sr. And now we're the biggest importer of rice in the world. Kailan tayo magiging self-sufficient, or is that a dream? Yeah.
No, definitely, Cess, it is not a dream. Ang kailangan natin is more irrigation. Technically, ang flatlands natin is almost 50% lang irrigated. Pag na-irrigate natin ng 100% na lang, assuming, or 95% ng ating flatlands, or about 1.2 million hectares, we can actually produce a lot of rice at even magka-surplus pa.
So kailan po?
Dahil ang irrigated land can produce 8 to 12 tons of rice per hectare, while unirrigated land can produce 3 to 4 tons lang per hectare. So doon sa 1.2 million hectares na yun, kung dagdagan mo ng 5 tons per hectare na dagdag sa 3, or total of 8, yung 5 ano na, that's already 6 million tons. And 4.7 lang ang in-import natin ng palay.
Okay, inamyandahan rin po
rice pala.
Sige. Inamyandahan recently yung rice tarification law na naipasa nung Duterte administration. Here, I'm just going to focus on the RCEF, yung Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund. Under the original RTL, makakakuha ng 10 billion yung mga farmers. These are for inputs, for technological advancements, and things that they need, Tinaas to 30 billion. We understand, Secretary, na medyo bago lang po yung pagkakaamyenda, pero nagsimula na ba yung rollout? Meaning, are the farmers starting to benefit from the amended rice tarification law, as far as you know?
Which should include irrigation.
Yes, it should include.
Nakatulong talaga yung RTL noong 2019, yung first run niya, sa pag-mechanize ng farming natin, sa seeds, saka sa mga research and iba-iba pa. Yung expanded or extended RTL, yung 30 billion, malaking tulong talaga yun pagka makuha na yung funds at ma-implement yung further mechanization, pati yung investment sa post-harvest na really badly needed by our rice farmers.
Okay,
So, sorry.
Go ahead.
So, going back, yung irrigation na sinasabi nyo na you want to hit at least 90%, anong taon po yun magaganap?
Ang problema is yung cost. To irrigate the 1.2 million hectares, we need 1.2 trillion pesos. So, I guess it's a matter of bibigay ba sa atin yung pondo para gawin yan or hindi. So, I cannot answer that until the funds are really given.
Is it possible to look at a PPP for that kind of project? Are we considering that, Sec?
Ang problema sa PPP, sa ngayon, the previous administration binigay yung tubig ng libre sa mga farmers. So, wala naman papasok ng PPP kung walang payback period. Technically,
Secretary, balikan ko lang po yung food security emergency. I mean, you have lawmakers questioning if this is enough to stabilize prices. Sabi ng isang lawmaker, si Agri-Party Representative Wilbert Lee, that this measure would be useless kung patuloy pa rin na yung mga cartel, di ba, yung mga syndicate na nag-i-inflate ng mga presyo, creating an artificial inflation on rice prices. I wanted to ask about the batting average of the Agriculture Department. Are you able to successfully actually go after these cartels? May mga nasampa na po bang kaso, and have you secured any convictions?
Well, sa rice, actually, wala akong nakitang cartel ever since I started. There clearly is profiteering, but it is hindi naman cartel-based na meron isang humahawak na malaking negosyante or trader or importer na gano'n. It's more of, it's the market. Kasi tumaas na yung presyo ng bigas sa market dahil tumaas ang world prices, naka 35% tariff pa. Pag nung tumaas na yung presyo ng bigas na gano'n sa merkado, tapos bumaba na world market, mas mahirap talaga magpababa ng presyo kaysa pagpataas. Yun ang main problem.
Pero yun nga po yung batikos ng karamihan, di ba? May EO62 tayo, yun yung nagbababa ng tariffs from 35% to 15%. One of the big issues with that, everyone has observed na bumaba na nga ang rice prices sa world market, and yet we are stuck. Like you said, mahirap siyang pababain, madaling itaas. Marami rin nagtataka kung kailan ba i-call off itong EO62 kasi umaaray na raw yung mga local farmers dahil ang baba ng tariffs on imports.
Well, sa akin nga, I think it goes to the same discussion kanina. Pag na-achieve na natin na mababa na yung presyo ng imported rice sa merkado at maybe 42 dun sa 5% broken and maybe 35 dun sa 25% broken, then I think pwede natin itaas ulit yan to 35 ulit.
And as to Pauline's point about the smuggling and cartels, perhaps wala tayong nakitang cartel with regard to rice, pero nag-e-exist po yan. Sec, I'm sure we all know, and we here in the news, we've been hearing the same names over and over again for over a decade. So I'm guessing
More.
More.
I was just a young reporter, so I don't know, 30 years ago.
Right? Paulit-ulit yung mga names. Like, kahit ako, memorize ko na po. Truly, hindi sa rice, pero sa ibang mga produkto like onions, garlic, di ba, may sari-sariling
Or traders who really...
Middlemen.
Yes, middlemen.
Yes. Mayroon na ba tayong nahuli doon sa atang Anti-Sabotage Act? At what's the plan? Maraming
yes.
excited.
Actually, marami na tayo na blacklist na companies, especially sa vegetables like onion, carrots, 16 companies na if I recall it. And mga ilan na rin doon nasampahan ng kaso. Meron pa nga tayong nahuli
Smugglers
noong
ito,
December 2023 na onion smuggler na from what I understand, nakakulong pa hanggang ngayon eh. Kaya lang, siyempre, hindi lang napapansin. Kanina, nakahuli kami ng 19 containers ng isda na pinapasok as frozen taro, pero actually naman isda kanina. Tuloy-tuloy kaming, ang BOC from what I understand, 8 to 10 cases, The DA is going filed yesterday, alam mo, lalabas na balita, then meron naman kami next week pa-filean ulit. So tuloy-tuloy naman, tuloy-tuloy.
Well, Secretary, as you probably heard Cez earlier saying that 9 out of 10 Filipinos or respondents in a strat-based survey said that they will vote for candidates who advocate for food security and the development of agriculture. Nabanggit na rin po dyan, syempre yung pangako po ng administrasyon na ibaba po sa 20 pesos per kilo ang rice. We have the midterm elections coming and they say it's a referendum of the accomplishments of the admin. Possible pa po ba, Secretary, ang 20 pesos per kilo, knowing na the President has 3 years left in his admin?
Alam niyo, nung pinag-aaralan ko mabuti yan because of my job now, nung panahon na pinangako ng Presidente yan, ang presyo ng fertilizer was only 700 pesos per sack. Now, the price of fertilizer is 1,400 pesos per sack. So doon pa lang, I can tell you straight na hindi kaya yung 20 pesos sa ganitong presyo ng fertilizer. Pero pag bumaba ang presyo ng fertilizer, ibang usapan na yun.
So at the current prices, kung 700 dating fertilizer per bag, do ngayon nasa 1,400, does that mean the lowest possible price per kilo of rice that we can look at and expect is 40 pesos?
40 pesos for yung 5% broken. Yeah.
You mentioned
25%
35.
broken should be less.
Ano yung nasa 35? O kanina sabi nyo 30
You mentioned
plus.
35.
25% broken.
How about shifting to another grain? Adlay, for instance, which farmers...
Well, we are also looking into yung single pass rice, kasi mas mataas ang recovery nun. But of course, also production efficiencies kailangan natin tignan. Sa ngayon, ang milling efficiency natin because of our old equipment or lack of equipment is only maybe 57%. Pero kung bago yung mga gamit at modern at efficient yan, nasa 68% na recovery. So, ibig sabihin, we can produce more, get more rice out of the same number of palay. So, it's a combination of many things. And unfortunately, there's no short-term solution, only medium-term solutions available.
Pero you know,
unless we subsidize, of course.
Right. Secretary, hopes were high kasi nung simula nung termino ni President Marcos na magkakaroon ng mas magandang food security plan para sa ating bansa. Pero ngayong midterm, parang anong na-achieve? If you were to, tell the voters.
Well, one thing I can guarantee is that we are food secure in terms of quantity and of the food we need. Hindi tayo mauubusan ng pagkain. Ang question lang ngayon is basically yung presyo. Yung presyo can be solved slowly through rebuilding the infrastructure of yung agri-sector natin. Sa totoo lang, pinabayaan ng 40 years ang ating agri-sector. Ito, diretsuhan na. Hindi nag-invest ng previous administrations.
True. But every administration promises this and so did BBM.
Well, ang programa natin ngayon ay totally iba sa programa ng previous administrations. I'm willing to entertain yung mga kung sino man yan gusto malaman talaga yung programa and what needs to be done para makita nila iba yung scale ng iniisip namin, saka iba yung focus ng current administration and the current DA, no? Katulad ng to solve yung gusto niya natin yung problema na 4 pesos na tomato, saka yung akit baba ng presyo. Ang kailangan natin is mega food hub, let's say somewhere in Clark, and another one in Quezon, para ma-secure yung ating GMA and other areas. Para lahat ng farmer, may malaking bagsakan na mapupuntahan where they can get a fair price. And then the logistics cost bababa. Of course, yung cold storage network, nobody in the last 40 years invested in a nationwide cold storage system. Ngayon pa lang natin gagawin yon. Yung food terminal natin dati na was built by the President Marcos Sr. before, ginawang leasing company na lang ng mga previous administrations at ngayon lang natin i-revive ulit. No? So maraming nasayang na oportunidad at oras at hindi talaga natugunan ng pansin yung ating agricultural sector for so many years. Ngayon lang, itong administrasyon lang.
Naging issue yun, no? Nice na you guys brought it up, no, Ses and Secretary, because matagal na yan, yung infra, pati sa logistical, that whole supply chain, no? Yeah. Marami tayong issues, right? You mentioned cold storage, yung mga warehouses for grain, etc., which I understand, dapat gobyerno yung nagtatayo. But now, I know a lot of people, a lot of friends, yun yung negosyo nila, cold storage. Kulang din tayo. And I think you gave a talk maybe 6 months ago and you said even the ports should be improved for food, right? Are we looking into investments there? And
PPP ulit.
PPP, alam na ni Ses yung tatanong ko. Papunta na ako doon. Ito mas pwedeng i-PPP, di ba?
Oo,
mas pwede.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, yung sa cold storage na frozen, yan pwede i-PPP yan. But yung cold storage is for vegetables, hindi. Dahil walang mag-invest din kundi gobyerno lang until the concept is there, no? Sa ports, pwedeng i-PPP yan. Sa silos and grain terminals or dryers, I think pwedeng i-PPP yan. And we are already not only looking into that, we are already talking to some possible investors.
We could take an hour to discuss this, Secretary. I know you have so much plans, pero in closing, you mentioned we are food secure, but we import a lot. So
that's kind of contradictory a bit.
Yeah, food secure because they're imports.
Yes.
So when will we actually be food secure in terms of supplying our own needs, growing our own needs?
Production, yeah.
Oo, in closing.
Well, pagdating nga sa vegetables, I think more or less we can be secure in our onion, no? We just need the storage systems. Kasi marami natin tinatapon eh. Ganon din sa ibang mga vegetables. And ang problema natin sa vegetables is actually seasonal eh. Dahil we're subject to yung weather, no? Na uulan. So ang solusyon din para sa akin is greenhouses talaga. Na where we can plant and harvest whole year round it.
Yeah.
So that is the solution.
Okay.
Of course, sa baboy naman, ang pinakamalaking problema is the feed cost, no? Para pababain yan, which is may plano rin kami na kailangan mag-plant tayo ng corn and maybe cassava around feed mills para they can produce their own feed with least cost of logistics, no? Maraming solusyon na nasa table na ginagawa natin ngayon. Technically, I've just been on the job 1.5 years, no? Some people might say matagal na yan, but honestly, in the whole scheme of things, sa laki ng problema at laki ng kailangan ayusin, I need more time. We need more time. But hopefully before my term ends, or in another year, siguro makakita na kayo ng significant mararamdaman na yung mga programa ginagawa natin.